Here is our patio before we started working on it. We bought our home in the winter, so this was actually our first time seeing the landscape grow in. Our long-term plan is to remove the brick and put in something that's less weed-friendly, maybe pavers or stone, for a more garden feel. Since the house is brick, using brick for the patio feels like too much for the space, but for this year, our goal was to just clean it up and get it usable. Ryan worked on the garden bed, which mostly involved cleaning out old leaves, weeds, and trash, but also treasures. What'd you find?
I found some medieval knitting needles.
While he worked on the initial cleanup, I moved on to weeding the patio. Now, I haven't ever had to maintain a yard in my life, so this was my first go at it. Let's just say I got a lot of practice and I met a lot of bugs very gracefully. No, it really wasn't that bad. It just took several days and hours and minutes off of my life, but after a while, I really got the hang of it and think that I could enter a competition. As long as it doesn't involve dandelion weeds, because those broke my spirit and my fingers, well, except my middle one. We filled a ton of landscaping bags and eventually started seeing the progress that helped us push through. This is really the first home project we've taken on since closing a few months ago, and it felt so nice to be able to see the patio start to take shape. Ryan worked in landscaping for 14 years, so he knew how to clear the garden beds and how to make the soil best for planting. Even having 2 people work on the space at the same time, it took us at least a month to get everything cleaned up, but we did it. And in hopes of keeping any of those weeds from growing back, I applied a natural weed killer to the brick. I found a spray bottle at Lowe's, but a watering can would also work just fine. This mixture really works best on brick patios or other areas that don't have plant life in them. You want to concentrate it to the weeds only since it might kill other plants. It's been at least a month since filming this, but we've only seen a couple of weeds grow back, so I will take that as a win. Since we cleared out the garden beds, it was time to find something to plant. We've both always loved lilac, so we picked up a few of the Miss Kim bushes and marked a spot for them in the bed. They should grow to be around 5 feet, I think, so hopefully this bed will be full of lilac in the coming springs. We have learned, however, that these are not deer resistant, but a good netting works just fine. If you have suggestions for deer resistant plants, let me know in the comments below because we are playing defense over here. We evened out the beds with topsoil, and then for a more polished look that's great at controlling weeds and retaining water, we finished with mulch. And then for my favorite part, the decorating. All of the sources are linked below. A shop in our town had a going out of business sale, so we grabbed the table and chairs from there, but I've linked some similar options as well. We also picked up urns and flowers for finishing touches. And here's how it all came together. We're so happy with how the patio turned out. It took a lot of sweat equity, but now we have a space where we can enjoy the lovely weather and a meal together outside before the Michigan winter comes. Be sure to subscribe and follow along as we move inside our house for our next project. There may or may not be a pink ceiling in the works. But for now, you can find me outside enjoying a cappuccino on our colorful, weed-free patio.